What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video today, and in this video I have a very special Retro FSD update. Today we're heading to 1968 in hopes of finding some true gems that shine bright within my collection. Let's get started. Airliners International 2024 in Kansas City heavily influenced the decision to make the trek back in time for this update. Thanks to two critical acquisitions made during the show, progress on this project has sped up significantly. The first one is this Western 737-200 with the Indian head livery. I found this at Squatchy's diecast hangar for only $50. While the model has some metal tarnishing and zinc rot on the main landing gear, it's otherwise in great condition and will prove vital to covering the first Western jet services to FSD. In 1968, Western was sending the Boeing 720B and Lockheed L-188 Electra. They would begin sending the 737 to Sioux Falls in 1969. The second major acquisition was this North Central DC-930 by Aeroclassics. Keen-eye viewers may know that I already had one by Net Models, but Connor was fortunate enough to find the Aeroclassics release at a collectible show in Chicago in May. Check out the model review he made on this model for the full story on how he acquired this lovely bird and the travels it shared with him prior to arriving in my collection. As for Sioux Falls, North Central was sending in the DC-9 jets on a regular basis from Minneapolis, plus a few small communities, while the smaller Convair operated only to those small communities. Another notable difference for this update is the terminal facility. We are at the old municipal terminal that was located on the south side of the airport, now part of the South Dakota Air National Guard facilities. I found only limited information on this facility, but a handful of photos do exist. This replaced an even older facility sometime in the 1940s and 50s as the airport continued to grow alongside the city. As a larger jet aircraft made their way into Sioux Falls, this facility too became insufficient for the city's travel needs, thus prompting the current terminal to be built and was opened in 1970. I've been unable to find gate assignments for this old facility, and quite frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if none existed during this time. Now let's take a look at a route map for the FSD. It's substantially different than past updates. To start, we have North Central Airlines to Mitchell, Watertown, and Yankton, South Dakota, Minneapolis and Worthington, Minnesota, and Sioux City, Iowa. The Worthington service was part of a three-stop service that led to Minneapolis. In 1968, those stops were made in Fairmont and Mankato. Ozark Airlines flew to Chicago and Sioux City on their DC-9s. And lastly, Western Airlines served Denver, Pierre, South Dakota, and Minneapolis using their 720Bs and Electras. Welcome to the Sioux Falls Airport. Today's date is August 1st, 1968. It's a very different setup here, so let's navigate it and see what's happening. First up is this North Central DC-930. This livery is not accurate to the time, as in 1967, North Central introduced a new paint scheme to coincide with the introduction of these aircraft. Not much is different compared to what's represented on this model though, but the key difference was a gold trim around the front of the aircraft, the cheat line, and the ring surrounding Herman the Duck in the tail. The gold paint proved difficult physically and financially to maintain, so it was removed from the fleet by 1972. Unfortunately, no North Central plane exists with this specific livery in 1:400 scale, which I'm hopeful that it will change very soon. This aircraft arrived from Sioux City at 8:19 p.m. local time as Flight 743. Next is this Ozark DC-910. These short 9s are almost impossible to come across in 1:400 scale, as Aeroclassics was the only manufacturer to make the type in this scale more than 20 years ago. As a result, the models are very primitive by today's standards, and also feature a screw in the belly. Despite these discrepancies, it is fascinating to own one of these. The route to Sioux City was busy during the late 60s, as both Ozark and North Central operated their sleek and fast 9s on this route, with the former operating it thrice daily. This flight is about to leave for Sioux City as Flight 982, scheduled to depart at 6:30 a.m. local time. Lastly is this Western Lockheed L-188 Electra. This livery isn't 100% accurate either, as this is a livery from the early 60s. Western introduced an updated livery, which can be found on my 737. By 1968, as Western began to utilize the bigger and faster jets on their prestigious services, the Electras were relegated to the smaller ones. This Western flight, number 411, will be flying to Pierre as it leaves at 10:15 a.m. local time. It will continue on to Rapid City, followed by Casper, Wyoming, and then to Western's hub in Salt Lake City. And that will do it for this video. Retro FSD continues to make its strides when it matters, as another critical piece arrives into the collection. The hunt for my other white whale models continues, those being the American Airlines Fokker 100, Western 737-200 with the Flying W or Swizzle Stick livery, and the Frontier 737-200 with the Sawbass livery. I'm hopeful for either Aero Classics or Gemini jets to do releases of these planes, especially with the American Fokker 100, as the last release was done more than 15 years ago and is impossible to find, especially for a reasonable price. Please do another release, Gemini jets, if you are watching this video. But anywho, the search will continue. With that being said, that is the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.